In this second segment, Shayne is going to tell us his particular situation in this particular sign, and this is the signs in the universe and the unseen hand. So at some point along the path, many people begin noticing something curious. Moments of synchronicity that feel too precise to be random. A number that appears again and again. The right person arriving at exactly the right time. Doors opening just when they are needed most. And in this segment, we'll explore Shayne's experience with the number 1111 and the deeper question it arises. Could unseen spiritual agencies be quietly helping guide the course of human lives? From synchronicity to the mysterious ways described in the Urantia teachings, we explore the possibility that the universe may be far more coordinated and far more personal than we usually imagine. So, Shayne, tell us about this story.
Yeah, well, it sort of began in 2018 when my wife had gone to get a reading from a psychic medium.
Okay.
And so it was recorded. And when she came home, she let me listen to the recording. And there was a number of things in the reading that she got that didn't necessarily make sense to her, didn't
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't obvious, I guess, to her what
Yeah.
this was. And when I listened to it, I knew exactly what it was. It
Okay.
was as if this section of the conversation was meant for me.
Okay.
Specifically, I had a friend who passed away in high school.
Just a question. What type of reading was it? What they used for the reading? What was it?
Um, this it was psychic medium named Kelly, who I've actually interviewed now on my
Okay.
channel 1111 HQ. But you just sit in the room and she just reads.
Okay. So got it.
So she can connect.
Okay. Okay.
The idea
Okay.
is she can sense or connect to
Okay.
deceased
Got it.
people or
Got it. Got it.
energy or yeah. Um, so this experience of listening to this and having this internal knowing, like I know
Mm-hmm.
what this is and it's meant for me. Obviously, I have to go see this woman and get a reading for myself. So that's exactly what I did.
But you felt, I mean, you said that this is something from a deceased friend that you felt, a message that you felt that was coming through?
Yeah. Yeah. It came
Okay.
through in a very specific way that really there's no way somebody would know this
Okay.
information, detailed information.
Okay. Got it.
Um, so about a month prior to going to see Kelly, the psychic medium, um, I started experiencing the 1111 phenomenon.
Okay.
I had no idea what that was. I had never heard of that. And for anyone who's not familiar, it is when you see a number over and over again
Mm-hmm.
in the strangest ways that are not random.
Yeah. Yeah.
They
Yeah. Yeah.
feel very significant.
Yeah. Very
Um,
precise.
yeah. So for me, it was 1111, and I was not just seeing it on a clock. I would get a receipt, and it would be on the receipt
Yeah.
right after seeing it a couple minutes before in another way. And then the big one for me was I was thinking about somebody that I hadn't talked to in for maybe 10 years,
Okay.
and I get a text from that person when I'm thinking about it, and the time is 11:11, and that was like, "Okay, what is going on here?" That's
Okay.
kinda when I became conscious of this thing happening.
That it wasn't just your mind being aware of the number. It was something that it was coordinated and yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it made me very curious.
Okay.
Um, so almost immediate probably within days of that happening, I go get this reading, and the reading's wonderful. A lot of the things she told me resonated, made sense. I trusted that she has the abilities that she claims she has.
Mm-hmm.
And what's interesting is my session was being recorded as well.
Okay.
And so we got to the end, and she said, "Okay, we're done." And my phone was laying on her end table, and I reached over and I pressed stop.
Okay.
And the phone was between us, and she's looking at my phone, and she like grabs my hand and she says, "Do you see that number a lot?" And I look at my phone, and I can send you a screenshot of it because it's still in my phone. Um, it's 1 hour, 11 minutes, 11 seconds. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, like this has been for the past month, I've been seeing ones, 11, 11.
So this was three 11s.
Yeah, it was
11,
1,
11.
11, 11, just straight ones.
Oh, well, oh, straight ones.
1
Okay,
hour,
got it.
11 minutes, 11 seconds. And the
Okay.
fact that she asked me that was like, oh my, why, like, what does this mean? Please tell me more. Because again, I knew nothing about
Yeah,
this.
yeah,
And the information that she gave me was essentially that I should start paying attention to the synchronicities because the
exactly.
universe seems to be trying to get my attention, and that could lead me into something. There could be something serviceable uh, if I follow that path. And so I took that seriously. I started kind of dove back into my spirituality because I felt like this was a time in the year previous that it was sort of on the back burner.
Yeah.
It reinvigorated me. And that, right after that, the 11:11 phenomenon died down. It's like I got the message.
Exactly. No, 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 and that's interesting. I mean, because everything that you're saying, this is this. I mean, I've had this same experience. I mean, and the 11:11. Just to point out, it's like the universal synchronistic number. You know, because that is where everything is equal. So I believe, and just like she said, the universe. And this is the way that the different beings, or the agencies communicate with us. Many times what we have to see is that we want to have signs, we want to have messages. We want to make sure that we're in the right way, because all the time we have decisions and we have to make up our minds, and many times it's not a black or white. It's either or, and you can't see the clear answer. So I believe that synchronistic events like this, and sometimes that they teach you or they point you into some way. That's what it is. It kind of tells us you're in the right way. I always when I'm working on something, on a project, and I become aware, and suddenly the numbers start popping up. One of the numbers that for me works a lot is 306. There's a long story about that number, but 306 is one of those numbers. And anytime I see it in license plates, I see, yeah, like you're saying, the configuration of maybe an addition. I'm making something, and suddenly the result is that number. It's like, oh shoot.
Yeah.
But that's really interesting. And I don't know. um well, by the way, talking about synchronicity, in what I believe in what I do with the human matrix pattern, which is the law of time. I mean, the universe is working, operating within a perfect structures, let's say, and although we have free will, and not only us as humans, but different beings, and the entire universe kind of operates in an autonomous way. Everybody has a job to do, but within a certain frame. It's a certain structure. So this is what it is. And once you start to understand that there's a structure and that we operate within the structure, you kind of start seeing where this is pointing. And you start realizing, and when you see in retrospect, which is what you were saying at the beginning in the other segment, is you see how the events are starting to add up. And I don't know if you ever if you heard, have you experienced the dark side of the rainbow? You know about that? About
No.
Pink Floyd, and
No. Oh,
I mean, and this is something interesting, and maybe if our audience wants to do this experiment, but this is a theory, and let me just sum it up. If you see the movie Wizard of Oz from the 19, I mean, before it was the Dawn of Color, actually, that movie, and you play the Dark Side of the Moon from Pink Floyd, it has such a precise synchronistic everything, you know. Sometimes the synchronicities are in the dialogue, in the verse, or in the vocals, what's happening. Sometimes it's the music of what's happening, you know. But it's if you see it, it's too precise to see that. And there's a whole thing. You have to put it at the certain roar of the lion, and it goes through. But you have to see it. And what I believe is, you know, what it tells us is that time is radial. No, it's not linear. I mean, we're kind of, and we're not static. It kind of goes into spiral, you know, and where time is compressing, it's moving forward. And what it's saying us is that we operate within these patterns, within these things. So
Mm.
as long as we're aware of it, and we understand these patterns, and we understand the signals, and the calls from the universe, will be more attentive, and we'll be more responsive, and more, you know, we'll know what happens. So I don't know, what's your take on
Yeah.
all this.
Well, yeah, and that's the key is, first of all, paying attention, recognizing it, and then asking, where where am I supposed to go from here? Actually inviting more of it from the universe. It's like, okay, I
Hmm.
got it. What? Show me more. What's
Where?
next? Show me my path,
Yeah.
right? And that's exactly what happened for me. And it's amazing to look back in retrospect. And when you try to explain these things to people who haven't necessarily experienced it, it can sound really crazy, right? Like, just this idea of the universe is communicating with you through synchronicities, but
Yeah.
put it to the test, try it, see what happens.
It makes all the sense once you really live it, and you see the results, because I think that's what happens. You know, you start seeing the progress and the results. And in your case, I mean, we're seeing this call to action, this call to something. So what was it specifically? What was that calling? And this is really interesting,
Yeah.
because you're one of the, I think, the youngest people that started reading the Urantia book. At least that I know.
Yeah.
Usually they're older.
Oh, for sure. It was, I could always understand the significance of the book. And
Okay.
I always felt like life is so important. Again, this is something happening internally with me, having to do with service or a calling, or what
Okay.
do
Yeah.
I, it's like I had this spiritual foundation. I, I'm so fortunate that I haven't dealt with things like depression. But I think that's because I had this rock solid
Yeah.
base to build off of. But the question was, what do I build? Right? What am I going to build? And this was a, this was, it only feels like I've been answering that question in recent years, where it's
Okay.
really starting to get validated. But what ended up happening, and I'll try not to get into like crazy details about it, but when I did have this psychic reading, the other thing she told me is that I could do what she does. That
Okay.
I, her feeling is that I have these latent abilities that I am not paying attention to, and that I should start leaning into that and trying to discover, uh, discover and learn. And I, in 2020, we had to deal with the pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
but I had a premonition that that was going to happen. But I didn't know it was a pandemic. It was just that this big life changing event that kind of reshapes the world and everybody's
Yeah.
involved in it. Um,
You didn't know what it was, but it's something was gonna happen. You know, like
right,
Obi-Wan, when they destroy Alderaan, that you know, there was a great disturbance in the Force.
right. Yeah, exactly. And, this is the type of thing that's really hard to articulate because it's this internal feeling. And it wasn't until afterwards that it was like, oh, like I knew it, but I didn't know it.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
what
This is
is
it.
that?
This is it. That was it. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah. But what ended up happening after that, after I had that realization, it really kind of kicked me in the butt. And that is when I started becoming social in my spiritual life, reaching out to other
okay.
people. I saw some people in the Urantia community who were doing some things that I found really interesting, and I was excited about. Uh, Derek Samaras has
Yeah.
his channel on YouTube, and I discovered that, and I was just soaking it up and thought this was amazing, sharing all these stories of people doing these things in the Rancho Book community. And I started reaching out to people, building relationships, and it felt like things were more aligned. Like I was finally
Yeah.
starting to move in the right
They come
direction.
together. Yeah.
Yeah. And the second big thing that happened to me, which actually involved 1111 again, was I'm very busy. I run a business, I have a family, and I love reading, but I don't have time to anymore just because of how busy life is. But I listen to books on Audible, the app on my
Okay.
phone. And I had a book that kept getting, it was constantly on my feed of recommended reading. And it's called
Okay.
UFO of God by Chris
Okay.
Bledsoe. And I'm, I've always been, I won't say obsessed, I've always been fascinated by the UFO UAP topic. And this has been since
Yeah.
I was a child. But this book keeps getting recommended to me, but I'm not sort of not paying attention to it, not looking into it, and certainly not buying it. But the one day my phone is lying down and it makes a sound like I've got a message. I flip it over. My phone's already open without me putting in my code. It's open to Audible. UFO of God is there and the time is 11:11. And I'm
Okay.
like, okay, I got it. Bye.
I'll read it. Yeah. 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 Well, that's the universe. I mean, this is the shoot. You have I have a lot of stuff that I want to, and what I've been realizing from this conversation. I mean, there's a lot of similarities in our stories. Maybe not at the same age, but
Mhm.
similar situations. I had one of my disturbance in the force, great disturbance in the force moments or situations, or the biggest one that I had was in 9/11. And
Mm.
I mean, I lived in Mexico, and that time I was in San Antonio, Texas. I was actually there when 9/11 happened, and I remember this was my grandparents' apartment, and I mean that time I was I was sleeping in the sofa, and I remember watching the Sunday night football game and everything, and that night around 2 in the morning, I woke up and I was really petrified. It was just a big, big fear. Like when you're a kid and you can't explain, the fear. I couldn't really put my wrap my hand around it. I almost ran to my parents' room. But the day after, I remember because I turned on the TV and I saw the towers in smoke, and that, I mean,
Mm.
I don't have to tell you the rest, but I remember that was one of the times that I could say I felt that the presence of, demonic presence. I don't want to say the devil, but it was
Mm.
like evil,
Yeah, that
it was
negative
like evil
energy.
was loose.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, something evil, I felt something evil, but anyway, so let's stop this right here on this, because we're gonna dive deep into what this is all about, what it means, and what celestial agencies are around there. So stick around and let's find out, and let's see what it's all about. On the Divine Within podcast, we share real conversations to help you find a personal connection with God. My goal is to support your faith, growth, and journey toward discovering the divine within yourself. Join us to deepen your faith and spiritual journey.